Okay, so hopefully I fixed the lighting situation. All right. So, welcome, Snake. Welcome to your March reading. If you're born in the year of the snake, or if you're born in May, then this reading is for you. Didn't actually think that out. Okay, so um, I'm seeing that this is actually a really positive year for you and a really positive month for you. Okay, so for this month, March, there's a lot of energies in both astrologies, Western and Chinese astrology, that point to like letting things go. And they point to like letting things go and, so that we can get into what the next 2 decades call for. But what I'm seeing for the snake is that it is extra beneficial for you in the way of like all this heart center energy is being flowed and directed to you because you've been doing so much of that. And if you look at like regular astrology, I mean, not regular astrology, if you look at like normally what us in America consider the energy of the snake, when we call someone, oh, they're a snake, they're this, they're that, that doesn't, just like in regular astrology, there could be negative zodiac signs that are cancers, positive signs that are cancers, right? So there is that negative side of snake, and usually, they get that treatment of like, oh, it's everyone. But there's a lot of like good energy that the snake offers and is constantly offering, and they don't even mind looking like the bad guy because they're so wise that they'll walk away from anything that isn't serving them. And they know that if it isn't serving them, it isn't serving anyone. You know what I mean? Because what's good for the one, it's good for the all. And a lot of the times they'll leave groups, they'll leave this, they'll leave that, they'll stand alone. We don't often see snakes out in the wild if you happen to be lucky enough to run into a real life snake. Usually it's just one snake, at the most like two, and they're usually not the same even type of snake. So what I'm seeing for you is that, this snake energy that I'm picking up on has been okay. So this month is requiring everyone to like look within and cut away from what's not working and do this introspection work. And this is important for you too, especially on the 19th that we have a new moon in Pisces. It's going to be illuminating a lot of like illusions, even for you, the snake energy. But it's this month and this year looks so different for you guys. It's so nice because you guys have been doing this. Snakes have to do with like transformation, and we just got out of the year of the snake last year. So even more snake energy. And I think when people were trying to paint you out to be the bad guy, because you left this group, because you weren't, you were refusing to be a part of this, you know what I mean? Because you were saying little bits of truths here and there, you know what I mean? And they were making you out to be the bad guy, you know what I mean? But now that everyone's needing to do this work themselves and you're not doing it anymore for everyone, you've kind of even walked away even on a greater level of like no one's listening. You know what I mean? And you're not doing the work for other people anymore. They are seeing the transformation that needs to be done and how emotional it can get. And it feels like, it's almost like giving birth when you're like pushing and pushing and you're alone. This is how a lot of people are feeling like now they're alone having to push and create something new themselves for everyone. Now they're having to do something new that the snake is always doing, which is transforming things, transforming environments, speaking truths, being a friend to people even if you look like the bad guy, because you're offering some wisdom, because you've been there before, you have experience, you know what I mean? You're always doing this. So now that everyone else is doing this, don't run back to hold their hand while they're giving birth. Stay in your own vibe and receive all this heartwarming energy that people are gonna now be giving to you because now they see that you've been helping them and they're gonna feel the weight, maybe not even 100% of what you've been helping them with. They're gonna see how warm you really are as a person. You know what I mean? But you've been getting to work. You know what I mean? But what's behind, what's the subconscious? All this water, all this emotion. But in the front, it's these swords, cutting away, cutting away, cutting away. That's like a lot of your life. So now everyone's going to see that a lot of the good changes that has gone on right now is thanks to you. Thanks to you walking away. Thanks to you turning away from like even your consciousness. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. We don't even see that snakes have ears. And their eyes are totally different than like a lot of like other beings on the planet. Their eyes are so different. You know what I mean? Almost like a cat, but not even close. Almost like a reptile, not even close. It's just different. So they see things differently. They don't really have the energy to hear things that because you're constantly at work, you're constantly in the vibe. So everyone's going to be seeing the work that you've always been doing. People cannot paint you as the bad guy anymore. And if they paint you as the bad guy, it's going to be like um, the bad guy that everyone loves, that everyone celebrates, that everyone wants to be like, that it's going to be so inspirational and that, there's so much courage um, that that has to do with you. So many things that required courage, all these changes that are right now that required courage to make, you were wrapped up all in that. And people were avoiding that. So they didn't even see the work that you do. But now that it's requiring people to build courage so that they can cut away from things, so that they can transform into something new, so that they can thrive in these next 20 years, you've been there, done that. So you're not only going to be seen as a leader, you're just going to be receiving this love because that's what you've been giving. Eventually, you do get what you give and you do reap what you sow. And people are having to cut the grass real low. And what did they expect to see? Snakes. But when they cut the grass real low and they see the snakes, they're going to see that, the grass was covering them and blinding them from the truth that they were avoiding. And, all you have to do is continue to like do some spring cleaning, drink your water, refresh, catch up, but it's all internal. It's all for yourself. It's all within yourself. And instead of like things like crumbling and falling on you in a way that's so heavy and negative, what's going to be falling on you is the love of um, the society that you're in, the society that you transformed yourself for, not just for yourself, but for them. And it was just an act of courage on top of an act of courage on top of an act of courage. People are going to have no choice but to admit defeat that they misunderstood you and they were misunderstanding you the whole entire time. And that you were more courageous that they ever could have been. And, even people who were making themselves out to be enemies of yours are going to thank you. Some may not ever tell you they still have that courage to build up, but that just is what it is. So things are being refined right now. There's so much beauty for you to continue to create in your own world, in your own work. Let people do what they do, because they have to look within right now. So it's best to just leave the party. The party is going to be going on the whole year for the fourth year. But right now it's still like leave it alone, leave it alone. You know what I mean? Don't look for that energy, that attention. when people look at themselves and they look at what they need to look at, all the BS that they need to cut away, the realest, brightest thing in the room for a lot of people is they're going to be going back to you, to you, to you. So, just keep doing your work, keep making everything beautiful because pretty soon at the party, they're going to be celebrating you. You know what I mean? And a few other energies, but you're going to be like the main energy of attraction of the gratitude that people are going to be feeling for the work that you do. So you're going to be reaping a lot of rewards for what you've been doing for the past probably last cycle. So it was probably like the last 18 years that you've been doing this stuff and being painted as the bad guy a lot and found it fun even. And now it's things are changing and now everyone loves the bad guy because they weren't really ever bad. They were doing what they were doing. And now that the grass is being cut real low and structures like towers are being broken and falling apart, and people are going to see what's inside those structures and what was hidden underneath the grass. And then they're going to look at you, and then they're going to look at all these things, and they're going to look at you, and they're going to look at all these things, and they're going to look at you, and they're going to look at all these things, they're going to look at you, and they're going to be like, you were not the bad guy all along. You know what I mean? You were able to slither your way into all these foundations and truths that appear to be solid. And now I don't know what to do. And you're just going to be like, you know what I mean? I think you're just going to be like enjoying the warmth that you've been giving to so many others. Because when you're in these towers looking at truths, transforming yourself to make things better for society, and when you're in the grass, you're in the shade, you can't really be seen, but not that the grass is cut low, now that those places that you've been in are being torn down, you can finally feel the sun on you. And you're gonna feel it more than anyone else, is what I'm getting, because you've been deprived of it more than anyone else, I think, in a lot of different ways. I don't like to compare, but that's what I'm getting for you. So, so that heartache is going to be torn away, and acts of passion are going to be coming your way very soon, very fast. So continue to make your space beautiful, focus on your health. I'm going to name this one Friend of the Universe because you are being recognized as a friend of the universe, not just the world, but the universe for all these years. And the universe thanks you, I feel and the world thanks you and the people thank you. And things may not look that great right now, but you know how to transform it because you've done it so many times. And when it comes time for you to be the leader, cool. But right now, you're just reaping the rewards and enjoying your space. Okay, so I love you guys. Welcome in a new chapter of abundance for the next X amount of time. We'll get into that in another video. But I love you guys. Stay safe and thank you.